Okay, everyone. So this is from the Scientology thread in Reddit, posted 2 years ago, so that'd be 2023, from Wooden Mastodon 8864. I was almost indoctrinated into Scientology by my local children's theater company. This is important to know. When I was about 5 years old, I attended a local production of Peter Pan by a new children's theater company. This experience sparked my love for theater, and I decided to join the company. Initially, I enjoyed being a part of the shows and meeting other kids. However, as time went on, I discovered the truth behind the company's operations. You know, so many fronts, so little time. In the early years, I had no idea that the family behind the company had any affiliation with Scientology. I didn't even know what Scientology was at that time. The company had a tiered system, kind of like a pyramid, with regular shows and high voltage shows that required a higher payment to participate. Once I joined the high voltage shows, the company became more open about their Scientology beliefs. They would wear Scientology necklaces and give us Scientology-inspired star pendants as a symbol of our years with the company. However, I was unaware of the significance of these symbols at the time. The artistic director, producer, makeup artist, and choreographer were all practicing Scientologists. But this information was kept secret from us. During our acting classes, the director would teach us Scientology beliefs and practices under the guise of acting techniques. I was never informed up front that the organization was Scientology based, and I certainly didn't expect to be taught about concepts like the emotional tone scale and Dianetics. The company also employed humiliation techniques. What other clubs do that, you guys? To try and keep members involved. This included shouting in private meetings where they would pick at our insecurities. Kind of like a humiliation ritual. But what do I know, right? I remember one instance where they called me and my parents into a meeting and told me that I was too far to have a career in theater. They also shunned members who left the company, convinced some members to drop out of public schools and take online courses to focus solely on theater, and made us sign year-long contracts. These are children, requiring us to do a show every year and pay $500 per month, which is not common for children's community theater. When I turned 18, I decided to attend a pre-college summer acting camp to further my knowledge of the craft. It was there that I discovered the truth about the theater company I had been a part of since I was 5. I learned that everything I had been taught about theater was based on Scientology, a cult that I had never heard of before. Accepting this reality was extremely difficult, especially since I was contractually obligated to perform with the company for another year. During that last year, the director made my life a living hell. Where have we heard this before? She knew that I was no longer brainwashed by her teachings, and she despised me for it. She would single me out in front of my friends during rehearsals, telling me that I had no chance at a career and resorting to name-calling. This is that narcissistic shaming. So they want you to do what they want you to do. Looking back, I still struggle to fully comprehend the extent of the abuse I endured and the Scientology beliefs that were forced upon my young mind. Where are the parents? I have blocked out most of my childhood memories related to the experience, otherwise known as trauma. Myself and several other former members have been diagnosed with complex PTSD. Of course they were. They were abused. And I often experience panic attacks and flashbacks when reflecting on those times. But on a positive note, I managed to attend one of the big top theater schools and am now a working actor in New York City. That's good. TLDR, my local children's theater company, attempted to indoctrinate its members into Scientology without their consent, causing lasting damage and trauma. Don't you guys wonder how all of this was allowed to go on? Doesn't it make you think about that? Okay. Roto Photo said, did your parents sign the contract? Because a child cannot sign a contract. And Wooden Mastodon says, yes, they did. See, parents should have been looking into it, but I don't know, I got a lot of thoughts. Damn. Do you think they knew about the Scientology bit? Sorry for the question, but as a parent, I'd be suspicious if someone asked me to sign a contract for my child. Yeah, that's true. They didn't know till much later, but at that point I was deep into it and didn't want to leave myself. They tried to convince me to leave, though. That's good. So you see how they got their hooks into him as a child? Crazy how no governmental agencies, no Department of Education, or, well, I guess Department of Education wouldn't cover that, but aren't there various, like, acting guilds, etc., that, well, we know what happens to the children in Hollywood, but I mean, aren't there supposed to be companies or agencies like overseeing these things? I mean, at least the guys of it. Okay, 4 Gifts said I messaged you. Free Zone and Proud. This is going to sound like I'm pushing back on your story. Oh, you guys know. But I'm purely asking for more information. I don't know, some of this stuff, man, I question it. I don't really want to read this one because it's getting on my nerves already. It's reminding me of, like, maybe someone who's still into the Scientology. See, so it was kind of like annoying. So Wooden Mastodon says, you can believe what you believe, but I know what I experienced. So it sounds like they're trying to minimize him. That's why I don't want to read that. It was more than just the emotional tone scale. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. They were trying to minimize him. Told you that Free Zone, I was real iffy on that one. It reminded me of someone who wants to be an independent Scientologist. It was way more than just the emotional tone scale. It was teaching us the way Scientologists view life and their philosophies, etc. We were being taught to think like them. Okay, Free Zone and Proud, which I'm thinking is an independent. It's really screaming it. Says, okay, please do not believe that I disregarded your account or that I think it didn't happen. I'm merely trying to understand how you define indoctrination. Yeah, I don't know, you guys. Wood Mastodon replies, also, no need to play devil's advocate on my experiences. This was not an opinion. It was something I lived through. Facts. Facts. That's funny. This person calls himself Dr. Fucko. It's so wonderful that you were able to weather through and sustain your greatest passion. I am happy for you that you managed to narrowly escape it all. Oh, there's a bunch of interesting things in here. I'm just going to click on this one. I think I'm going to be coming back to this. Okay, this is off topic, but it says, do you think this is another sign of Scientology's death rattle? Okay, I'll check this later. But there's like 200 and something upvotes, so that's interesting. So anyways, you guys, that was about it for that thread. And I'm very well aware of some of the things go on Reddit, but I do my best to stick to the information. So I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night, wherever you are. Peace.